Hi, welcome everybody, and welcome to episode 2 of this thing that we don't really know what to call it yet. We're getting closer though. A few of you were really wonderful today and provided some suggestions for us. I think my mom may have won actually. The one we seem to be leaning towards right now is Learning Outside the Lines with Kyle and Glenn. We like that one.
Yeah, it's
Although,
pretty
Tanya,
good.
you get a quick shout out because we like New Ed Reality a lot too. So maybe
Definitely.
one of those two. You probably found out when you watched the title plate.
Yeah, yay!
So that being said, we want to go ahead and kick things off. And so we want to share our quick success stories, our uplifting news. So I got to have a really great conversation with a teacher who has a vision that they want to cast for the course that they teach for graphic design across our whole district. So we're going to kind of develop this new kind of position or leadership opportunity for this particular teacher. So he'll get a chance to hopefully connect graphic design teachers across our district with really cool opportunities with internships for students, bringing more industry folks in to kind of speak to the work that we're doing and really kind of making sure and informing that we're doing the right kind of work with students and in our classrooms.
That's cool. Real world opportunities. Yeah. My uplifting news of the day, I actually have been calling parents that I haven't seen students logging into eClass. And I'm really just trying to connect as a person to make sure that everyone's okay, that, kind of see what folks are struggling with, what families are dealing with right now, and just trying to come from a place of caring and understanding and trying to help people overcome some of the obstacles we have. So I was able to connect with one parent. We talked for about 30 minutes on the phone, and just being able to be almost a mentor to the student going forward, I hope, and helping them get things back on the tracks just because they're going through so much life right now. We're talking about like deaths in the family and like multiple compounding issues. This is not just like, I'm almost afraid like sometimes folks are like, oh, well, students are just lazy, or oh, students aren't trying right now. No, it's not that. So making sure that we come from a place like in our hearts with care, I think really goes a long way.
Yeah, I think as educators, we're asking for some grace too, both from our administrators, from our district expectations, from our own families for that matter, as we try to navigate these spaces that we're in. And this is really what part of this blog is supposed to be about is how do we create those caring spaces and relationships still in this virtual space. So really, really amazing stuff, Glenn. Thanks for sharing that piece.
Yeah, definitely. It was an honor. It was really cool.
Yeah. And maybe you can give us an update at some point about where that student is or once you get a chance to connect with them more too.
Definitely. Yeah. I'll keep trying.
So we're going to dive right into it. So this is your digital teaching hack. We're sticking with that name for now. We'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah.
But today, Glenn is going to dive into Anchor podcasting. This is something he's been pretty passionate about and something he's had a good amount of success with. And he's literally doing it right now with his students. So Glenn, take it away.
Anchor podcasting is what I'm doing with my students. Anchor is just one of the many podcasting tools that's available. But what I like about Anchor, there's a lot, but just a few things. It enables students to very quickly put together a podcast using their phones, mostly as all the technology. The nice thing is being out of the classroom right now and a lot of our students having access to computers, maybe even more so than in the classroom. We have a lot of tools available online with it as well from a desktop. So they can still operate it with their cell phones, or there's a lot of desktop access. But it's really simple and just a few clicks to get a podcast up and going. It has a whole lot of features. They do a great job of selling it also on the site. Which is just anchor.fm, and I'll put that at the end of our podcast as well for today, or our vlog. But it offers the ability to podcast with friends, which is really cool. So right now, students can actually have a podcast segment together with each other and record that live, and then someone can edit it and then upload it to the actual podcast itself. There's episode builders, which are really, really useful. It has built-in music and transitions, which are fantastic. So I'm making a podcast along with my students. I do this every year, and mine's called Digital Days. And so I'll be creating a podcast with them while they create theirs. You can do anything with a podcast. It hits all of the informational AKS for the writing standards, especially depending on how you structure your lessons for the scaffolding for this. And it provides, like, we're reading graphic novels while we do this. So we'll be integrating, elements from our graphic novels into the podcast. So it's going to hit every single AKS, every single standard for you standards-based folks like me. But also it's just super fun and engaging and high interest. Like from day one, Kyle, I've been having them basically journal about their experiences that they're going through. Like, just write down a page about what's life like today. And so the exciting thing is we're going to be able to incorporate that into these podcasts and share it to kind of build that digital community space inside of our classroom. Keeping the community, like that's the most important thing right now.
Yeah, and that's a really great way to do it. I think it's funny. So we're both very steeped in our district's terminology. So when you hear us use terms like E-Class or AKS, we'll apologize ahead of time because we will not be able to help ourselves. But E-Class is our district's online platform.
Sorry, just drinking the Gwinnett County Kool-Aid.
That's fine. Yeah. And then the AKS is what we call our standards, but they're going to be similar to the standards you would be approaching in your classroom, depending on what you teach. But just to kind of clarify right there, we will occasionally make that little flub in case you're watching and you're not part of Gwinnett County. We just want to make sure that we address what those things are too. So,
AKS equals CCSS, Common Core Standards.
Yes.
They're just Gwinnettified.
Correct. Yeah. So I'm going to share what our good word of the day is. We're going to share a couple of small little nuggets before we get out of here today. I'm going to go ahead and share this first one with you. So found out that this really seems to be more of a tool for people or parents who are kind of doing school from home or having to do more homeschooling. But that doesn't mean it's not accessible to you as an educator, especially if you come from the realm of looking at any of the natural sciences or wanting to connect in a meaningful way. And what's really cool about what Discovery is offering is they're doing it week by week. So they just started this week where you've got elementary, early elementary, upper elementary, middle, and high school. Our high school background, I'm gonna click on the high school grades 9 through 12 so you can kind of see it. But what's neat about these PDFs, again, for whether you're a teacher who thinks this could be helpful or a parent at home who thinks this could be helpful, is they've got it all laid out kind of Monday through Friday about what you could do. And even adds this little weekend challenge piece that I think is kind of cool and adorable all at the same time. But just looking at Monday, right? Explore self-paced online modules and other tools that equip you to make sound financial decisions. Tech Tuesday, learn more about the way that emerging technologies are solving everyday problems. And so it tries not to just sit into the science world. It's trying to kind of go all over the place where there's some embedded learning. So you probably have to do some exploration to make sure any of it would actually fit with standards if you're a teacher. But certainly if you're a parent needing to do some meaningful learning with your child at home, these seem to be just a really cool tool, especially if you're talking about young kids in the early elementaries. So that's from Discovery. We'll try to throw that link up too at the end so you'll get a chance to kind of see it. And then I also wanted to show you another tool. I will be the first to admit, I've never used this tool. I just heard about it and thought it was a cool thing to share. So if you hate it, don't tell us.
Or tell us.
You can tell us.
Yeah, you can tell us.
It's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine. It's called Gimkit. So Gimkit is, this is actually what's cool about it. Gimkit was created by a high school student and they literally graduated just last year. I don't really know anything about this young man, but he basically wanted to make things like Kahoot a bit more engaging. And the way he decided to do that was just like in a Kahoot where you've got these, players work on teams or individually to answer these quiz-like questions. he added this feature where students kind of earn in-game cash and they can spend it on upgrades. And these upgrades allow them to either answer faster or they get more bonus points when they answer. And so you kind of almost get to level up. And so it's meant to kind of help drive that competitive dopamine hit that many of us enjoy in our brains. It's neat. I mean, it's got a free version of it that's got most of the features. We'll try to continue to give you a link to this as well, but I think it's really nice that it provides some data for the teacher, just like a Kahoot might or a quiz is. There's a way to actually develop assignments and send things out to other teachers. And so I'm going to share this real quick. This is from their blog recently that's literally talking about our current situation. All right, so it says right here, when you create an assignment, you'll select the kit you want students to play and how much money you want each student to earn. The target cash amount you set will depend on your student's comfort with Gimkit and upgrades. And it says by default, we set the target cash amount of $500,000 and moderately comfortable with Gimkit and content. This takes about 15 minutes to reach. Feel free to adjust as you go. So this is something you can actually give to your students asynchronously, where they can kind of compete without having to be online at the same time and still get that reward, but they're also, either reviewing or maybe even learning something new. Again,
there's a target. That's cool.
Yeah, it's got a target. Yeah. So I've not used it. I might challenge Glenn here to see if it might be useful to him. I have no idea. But there are YouTube videos out there that kind of give overviews that I won't play right now. But you can find more information if you just want to see how it works. There's a couple of people that have done overviews that take a couple of minutes to check out. So I encourage you to do that. Then last but not least, we want to really kind of do what we did with our last outro, which is here are your last kind of encouraging things that are happening out in the world outside of this moment right here. Glenn, do you want to share first?
Malala has actually just made her book completely free to download, her memoir, which is like extremely exciting. I know a lot of classrooms have used this book. It's an amazing story, amazing resource. And again, just to see so many authors out there that are putting their work out there for students right now to kind of help with literacy, and just removing barriers. I think that's really what we're trying to do right now, is just remove barriers. We've got so many challenges with e-learning and distance learning and digital learning, but that's what Malala's fought for her whole life, and was willing to die for, is people's access to education. So the fact that she's helping championing removing those barriers for student access, I just think it's extremely appropriate and awesome, and just incredibly giving. So yeah, everybody's fighting for us. It's cool.
And that's one of the positive things that has come out of a really terrible situation is I think you see people rallying around one another in meaningful ways. And so I'll help end with this. One last thing to share with you. So this goes back to the Twitterverse. If you haven't seen it already and you're on Twitter, check out 3D printing and type in COVID-19 or something along those lines and explore, and you'll see things like this. There's a massive global movement right now to leverage 3D printing to develop and manufacture PPE gear for healthcare workers, or to actually try to develop ventilators that can be created in emergency situations out in the field. This is something that I know that educators are looking at jumping into. So like our engineering teachers and computer science teachers who may be getting in on some of this as well. But you can just kind of scroll through here and see there are these large companies that are getting in on this, as well as countries and others who are trying to create open source materials. So a 3D printer enthusiast, or again, a true manufacturer, could take these plans, develop something and start testing it to get it ready for the field. While we hope this is not something we have to tap into as a world, it is really endearing to see all these people come together from all different backgrounds and all different career paths to try to develop what may be a needed way to curtail our current situation or save lives. So wanted to share that. This is such a cool thing to kind of scroll through and see everybody that's involved in trying to help build a network of accessibility to this gear.
It's cool stuff.
So I don't think we did it at the beginning, so we'll just kind of remind you who we are. So I'm Kyle Jones.
And I'm Glenn Rhodes.
And we're really excited that you are watching episode 2 with us. We are going to be back in the coming days, and we're going to bring on some guest spots so you don't have to just listen to us talk. But we want to provide you with some other experts who have things to say about digital learning and kind of giving more encouragement into this interesting time when we're all trying to learn and develop and grow together online.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. We look forward to interacting with you online. Feel free to reach out to us on Twitter and also just add your comments below. So feel free to share this around. And if you're interested in a guest spot, again, reach out to us. We'd love to have you on.
Yep, at the Prof Jones.
At GChant668.
All right, we'll catch you tomorrow.